humanity's prehistoric paranormal predecessor, or the ramblings of a superstitious soothsayer. In this episode of the Erich Andreas Unexplained, I present to you the mystery of the Tsarichina Hole. Tsarichina, Bulgaria. What says you, Ray? Go.
Andreas, what kind of Soviet fairy tale are you selling this time?
It's the mystery of the Tsarichina Hole in Bulgaria, Ray. We talked about this.
The only hole that I'm interested in is a sweet little piece that works down in reception at the lumber yard.
Just one show without the innuendo, Ray, would be nice.
Oh, right there, Comrade Zesty Pants. Hey, Andreas. Do you think that you would like to come over later tonight and help me toss my Shopska salad?
No, and she's not on the show. No. No.
Shopska salad? You just send her over.
Why me? December 1990. Where were you? Where were you? Where were you? I was personally speedlunking up the coast of Angola in a hot pursuit of a mammoth mosasaur. Barely survived, barely made it out alive.
Common story with you, but let me tell you about my adventures in 1990. I was a boy of 4, learning to navigate the Mushroom Kingdom. Let me just tell you, if they wanted me to solve the world's problems, they shouldn't have hired a plumber. All right, but you know what? You do what you can do.
Is this a sex joke?
No, this is a Mario joke.
Oh, okay.
I was just learning the wonders of the NES.
Anytime a male friend of mine, a masculine male friend, talks about doing some plumbing, he's not actually a plumber. I always assume it's just.
Yeah, but at the age of 4, I wasn't quite interested in those things.
I guess not. So sorry.
What were you doing?
I was getting my fortune read.
Your fortune read?
Mm-hmm.
Did it come true?
Yeah, it said something about being in between 2 guys with beards who annoyed me.
Did it really say that?
That is a good fortune teller right there.
Was there 2 chaps with beards?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they annoyed you. I see.
I mean, 50-50 chance that I'm going to annoy you anyway, so good stuff.
Object number 1. The hole or the pit of Tsarichina, Bulgaria.
Oh.
Yes, so guided by psychics and remote viewers to the rather obscure town of Tsarichina, Bulgaria, one Colonel Kurnev of the Bulgarian army pushed his troops deep into the underground into the spot that they had used as a cover story in search of Tsar Samuel, 11th century's hidden treasure. And this was a cover story that was given to everybody on what they were actually looking for to gain some of the funding, I should imagine. But that's not what they were looking for. They were looking for object number 1. And in this story that we're going to talk about, I'm still unclear on what object number 1 specifically was, but somebody will correct me on this, no doubt. And what happened here was so interesting. This was designated as Operation Sunray, and it's a very interesting name. Obviously, I don't know the Bulgarian translation, or maybe it was just Operation Sunray. But they also called this area, this area has been called the Bulgarian Area 51.
Bulgaria 51, if you will.
There we go. There it is. And so they cordoned off this area in 1990, and they were on this dig or exploration dig for 2 years at this site, riddled with just complete paranormal chaos. the soldiers dug as far as they could until their equipment malfunctioned and they were forced to dig by hand. That's why it took so long. And mysteriously, the machinery would shut down one by one. And what would happen is they would, just through the dig before they even reached the first, let's call it, restriction into further depths, a lot of them were suffering from hallucinations, and they would hear whisperings in their head and voices and just really odd things. And it was a very, very, very spooky thing for everyone involved before they even hit the, let's just call it the interior perimeter. And once they had dug to a certain level, they came across a sheet of polished, smooth stone, and which they were unable to get through. So they used, well, as you would, explosives. And once they had breached that barrier, it led to a spiral pathway into the interior of the Earth. And I think they had one psychic with them, and Colonel Kernev, and the soldiers made their perilous trek deep into the Tsarichina Hole, and they were met with everything from what was described as a bacterial sickness, and like I said, the hallucinations and the voices, and they eventually came upon what was called the it was called the yellow monkey, and it was a creature, the yellow monkey, which was encased in a translucent sort of stone. And like I said, 2 years at this location, bacteria-laden stone structures, and according to the psychics, this creature was summoning them, the soldiers and the men, or mankind as it were, to the location. However, the famous seer Baba Vanga, we all know Baba Vanga, warned to stay away from this location and stay away from the dig. And this is I get these weird feelings even talking about this. So the hole, or the entity of Tsarichina, Bulgaria, what do we think? I have more, but what do we think?
How big was the creature?
I don't know. I'm not sure about that. So Colonel Kernev he wrote a book about it years later. Now, how much of this was fabricated, I'm not positive. I do know that one of the psychics, or the main psychic, was a daughter of another colonel that was on the, let's just call this an expedition. But a few years later, she threw herself off of a building and removed herself. Let's just say, for YouTube's sake, removed herself from our
she unsubscribed from life.
She unsubscribed from life, and then her father, the general, died underneath a bridge in mysterious circumstances.
Stroll.
Yeah, so there's a lot of oddities that went along with this. What do we think?
Well, don't go near bridges. Okay, let's just start with that. Don't go under bridges. More on that another day. What do you think?
I'd avoid roofs too.
Roofs. Yeah, roofs. Obviously, that's a bad idea too. Base jumping without a parachute is not base jumping. It's basic.
There we are. Yeah, and the same time during this dig, let's just call ominous-sized cryptids, large and small. We're going to use the phraseology cryptids were seen around the dig site on the tree perimeters, or right outside of the fenced off area, and this was reported by a lot of the soldiers, and whether it was small little creatures, and this was during the dig, that were 1 feet tall to giant humanoid cryptids that were seen, and not even to mention the UAP and UFO.
UAP?
Yeah.
What's a UAP?
Unidentified aerial phenomenon. It's the
That's a
new
new
term. You got to be hip.
I guess so.
If you're a hipster ufologist, you've moved on from UFOs. I'm a fan of the term UFOs, but UAP, unidentified aerial phenomenon is the new jam, as it were, as the kids are saying on the street.
It sounds like an STD, but whatever.
It certainly does, yes. So during this time, the communications broke down. And when I say the communications from the dig site to the outer world broke down bit by bit. And Colonel Kernev had some sort of really basic telephone unit installed. And on every phone call that would be made, there would be these faint whispers that were reported to be demonic styled whispering that they would hear, but they could never really decipher what the whispering was. And that's some scary stuff right there. And several years later, there were some scientific researchers on the site, and they camped on the site. And this is after the soldiers had retreated. There was a lot of, now I'm not going to get into the specifics of how many soldiers died and how they died, because there's so many conflicting stories. The Great Wide Files had a brilliant show on it. Bedtime Stories, which is my favorite, had a really, really good breakdown on it. And there's just so many, and the Tape Library, that's another great channel too. I love the Tape Library. But there's so many conflicting stories that I don't want to say these soldiers died, these soldiers were harmed, these soldiers were sick, because we just don't know. So I'm just going to say there are a lot of disturbances and occurrences, and reportedly a few deaths, but I do not know how. But the researchers years later that camped on the site, and like I was saying, the site was, when the soldiers initially retreated, they covered it up with concrete. I think they used some more explosives and some concrete, tons of concrete, to cover up the site, and all the records were supposedly destroyed, but no records in this world are destroyed. Trust me, and not your internet records either. And
not
you know
even
what I'm talking about, yes. So, the researchers that camped on site were accosted by UAPs and UFOs, and they left in a fevered retreat as well. So, Tsarichina, the Tsarichina Hole, what was this? Was it a interdimensional porthole? And there's another term, and instead of extraterrestrials, there's a term called ultra-terrestrials, which refers to, I believe, if I'm not correct, or I remember well, ultra-terrestrials is interdimensional extraterrestrials. Yes. So it's even more
I guess it
more
depends,
confusing, yes.
because they're not extraterrestrial if they're from a different plane but the same planet. Right?
I believe so.
Something to think about.
Yeah.
Somebody say, find that out in the comments. Anybody, please?
Yeah, please.
Fine, we'll do it ourselves, whatever.
And please, Ray Casper, stop shooting down everyone that comments.
Please, Ray Casper, just leave.
Ray Casper gets into arguments with people in our comments section, and then I'm pressed into having to delete the whole comment thread just because of Ray Casper and his
isms.
His isms.
He takes isms to a whole new level.
Exactly. So, Madeleine, what says you? You have a distinct interest in the extraterrestrial phenomenon. What says you? Tsarichina?
It's probably a portal underneath. And didn't they, when they blasted through, it was already like a tunnel.
Yes.
That was pre.
Yes. And I heard spiral pathway. Then I heard a spiral. Everyone's using the term spiral stairway. I don't know about the stairway part. That stairway just smacks of human beings, but I don't know.
And it was
You know what I mean?
scary enough that they had to cement it in, not just put the dirt back in.
Yes. What do you think?
Well, as much as I'd like to think that spirals aren't naturally occurring in nature, as far as cave systems and such, I mean, I didn't think that octagons were naturally occurring waterfalls, and I was wrong about that too. So nature plays with shapes, so it has possibilities. Aliens and extra-dimensional beings. Ultra-terrestrial just sounds good, actually, now that you say that.
It really does,
But there's potential. However, let's think of a better word than spiral, people. Just give me anything else. Anything else? Spiral? Come on.
Okay. All right. So, yes, the Tsarichina Hole, or the entity of Sarachina, or the Tsarichina phenomenon. What do we think on this from what we know? True tale or festering fable? What says either of you?
True tale.
Why?
True tale.
Because I believe in like black holes and that there's other intelligent life out there.
Okay. I'm gonna have to say festering fable, because I don't think there's intelligent life out there. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it here.
But do you believe there's life out there?
There's life. I didn't say it was intelligent, though.
Okay.
I mean, just because there's amoebas around doesn't mean that counts to me.
But is intelligence just a human? Is it a human construct? What is intelligence on the other side of the galaxy? Everything is a barometer. I think, and I don't know, because I know a few individuals that I would call hyper intelligent. And when I spend any time around these hyper intelligent people, I usually keep my mouth shut, because whatever I have to say, it's not going to measure up. So,
Well, I have a counter to that, sir.
okay.
You can be intelligent, sure enough. You can remember things, you can write it down. You can remember what you had for breakfast 10 years ago on Thursday. Good for you. But can you apply that knowledge in any way to benefit mankind? If the answer is no, then you're about as useful as a Ninja Turtles nerd, for all I care, which I love Ninja Turtles. So that's the limit of your intelligence, is how can you apply it? That's how I gauge intelligence.
Okay. Well, supposedly, according to Baba Vanga, the release of the yellow monkey, which I assume was the entity of Sarachina, it was a way to assist mankind in a way, but also there were the other psychics and seers and remote viewers that said it would be a curse to humanity to release that entity. So, yeah, yellow monkey.
Last time I saw Yellow Monkey was in that Lost in Space movie. That's not inspiring confidence, so we'll just leave it at that. You think on yourselves for that one.
You know what I just thought of?
Oh no.
That we're using this term yellow monkey, and it's going to be used as a pejorative when Ray Casper calls. I can guarantee it, because he's listening and he's up to his old tricks.
He would have told. He was going to say something to you like that anyway.
Exactly, but it's just, he'll find some way to twist this.
He doesn't have to. He's uniquely gifted at that crap.
Exactly. So I have to say, the entity of Sarachina, I would say 99% true tale.
You really are a believer, man.
I believe it. Colonel Kernev's book, I have not read it. I read excerpts, but I did not read the book in full disclosure.
Is it worth reading, people?
Well, if we have an interest in this subject, I think it would be worth looking into. But and the thing about it is that I read the portions I read might have been doctored because they were just excerpts online, and you got to be careful about that kind of stuff. But I believe portions of this story are true. Do I think that soldiers just suffer hallucinations? Yes. Do I believe that they were a result of the specific dig? I don't know. Do I believe they encountered something in the depths? Yes, I do. Do I believe the Bulgarian government, it was in conjunction with the army, covered it up? Yes, I do. But I cannot say exactly. Now, I have a very dear friend who's a pretty brilliant ufologist, and eventually I do want to get him on the show. He's a Bulgarian national. He knows more about this subject, as he puts it when we're out for drinks. He knows more about this subject than I could ever begin to understand, and I believe him too. Very knowledgeable guy, and he's a huge fan and follower of Ishmael Perez, if I'm saying his name properly. Am I saying his name well? And he's really turned me on to some of the Ishmael Perez of live streams, and I'd really love to have this chap. He's Bulgarian national, and he knows, according to him, and I do believe him, if he doesn't know it, it can't be known.
I don't know, man. That sounds a little Bulgarian to me, so I'm just saying.
Bulgarian. Yeah, but I do. I love that confidence and arrogance that I wish I could live up to. But anyway, anyway, we'll get into that. So I would have to say, coming from my standpoint, true tale.
Well, y'all are believers, and I'll give you that. But let me tell you something. Again, Lost in Space, Yellow Monkey, flip-flop movies. Think about it.
There we are. So, speaking of Lost in Space and movies, we give you Grimmhauser's Movie Moments.
So, there's only one movie that's even remotely related to this subject that I've ever seen. It's called Triumph. Not the one from like 2021. I don't remember what that one's about.
Triumph?
Yeah, there's more than one movie called Triumph, but this one's from 2024. And it is actually about like the end of communism and the Bulgarians going to the hole. It's literally about that.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's a stylized movie though, so don't get too much with the historical. It's more for fun.
Why did you send that to me? I never heard of that.
Well, you know, I didn't think about it until like pretty recently, and I have stuff to do too, people. I've got a life too, barely. But all the same, it's an interesting tale. It kind of loosely follows like the events of what Andreas here was explaining, but you know, with a little stylistic twist, a little bit of horror intrigue going on. I'm not going to give you more than that. It's well acted. It's got some fun moments. Look it up for yourself, but don't watch the one from 2021.
And it's called Triumph.
Triumph.
Really?
Triumph.
Okay. All right. Anything else you, any movie mythology on the subject that would even be loosely related, do you think?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is a funny one. Because when it came to Grimmhauser's Movie Moments, we're going to have a hard time trying to link something. Yes.
Well, I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, it is not a Ninja Turtles kind of story. So let's just leave it at that. People digging in the ground and finding evil stuff is pretty much half the movies I've ever seen.
Okay.
Think about this, you know? Poltergeist. Ghostbusters 2. You know, you dig in the ground, you find something evil. It's just what it is.
Or even, wasn't it even The Exorcist? There was a dig at the beginning of the original.
In The Exorcist?
Yeah, I believe there with Max von Sydow.
Oh, I think you're right.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that because I was so focused on the other stuff that happened in the original uncensored The Exorcist, but okay, yeah. I
thought the Exorcist, the beginning scenes were probably, for me, and I'll make some enemies with this one, probably the best part of the movie because it just
they're iconic.
It set this intrigue for me.
They're iconic and they're still referenced to this day, so I can't argue.
Yeah, okay. All right, very, very good. And you were just saying that, declaring that you have a life. You know who else who had a life, if we're being honest?
Who?
Mikey. Yes. Mikey.
The Ninja Turtle?
No, Mikey, who loved his cereal. His two brothers said he'll never like it.
Oh. Mikey.
But Mikey loved Life cereal.
You know,
Here we are. Here
let
we
me
go.
tell you,
Here it goes.
I've lived life. I've lived life, and I get by. But nothing really gets you going like life cereal. Let me just tell you. When life's getting you down, you're stuck in a certain place, and you just cannot digest what's happening to you. Life cereal will make you regular again, sir.
Exactly.
We'll see.
And don't be surprised, Madeleine, if he left a deposit of some sort on that.
Ray Casper here for Quaker Life cereal, as sweet and wholesome as it is healthy. Speaking of something sweet, that bewitched broad, whoa, that's something.
Jesus.
If you want a life, you have to eat life cereal.
There you are.
Specific cinnamon flavored.
It certainly
Yum.
is. Is it Ceylon cinnamon? Probably not.
Probably not.
1970s. All right. Beautiful life cereal. There we are.
I've also played the game of life.
There we are. Did you win or lose?
I lost
Did you really?
repeatedly. That game is stupid.
So, speaking a stupid game, a wicked game, as it were, as Chris Isaac said, your dear friend's called.
Oh, no.
And he's been holding, and he sent the most vicious messages earlier.
What do you consider vicious for this guy?
Well, I wouldn't say vicious. I retract that. Pointed, yeah. Because Ray Casper always asks, so what's the subject of your stupid show? And I say, well, we're talking about this Bulgarian thing, this and that Bulgarian. And any time that I mention anything that isn't ethnically North American, he accuses me from being from this place, and I've been trying to conceal it and hide it and this and that.
He's not accusing, he's guessing.
Well,
he's trying to nail it one day. But even if you told him the truth, whatever that may be, he'll probably still say, you're like from outer space or something. I don't know.
Yeah, you're probably right. So you're okay to say hello to your friend? Yeah, he likes you actually, I think.
Is that what you call it?
Yeah, I always knew you're Bulgarian anyway.
Not Bulgarian, Ray.
You're Bulgarian, I said. I know it for a fact. Everyone knows it now. So the secret's out. And if I'm gonna be honest, now that I'm getting a good look at all you three here together, you know what you look like. You look like three Soviet bungholes just waiting to pass around the Prioski.
What's
Prioski, I said. Hey, Molly. Dad Grimmhauser, ever tell you
Every
the
last
time when we were docked in Port of Manila, and I caught him trying to sneak in a little slanted piece into my stateroom. I can't tell you on that island on how many of those little slanties that Grimmhauser knocked up in order to get out of it. And one night he thought he could use my stateroom to get cute and lay some pipe, and nobody lays pipe in Ray Casper's stateroom except Ray Casper.
Ray.
And I got the diamond on Grimmhauser, so you just be very careful, Molly, tonight with Grimmhauser after the show, because Grimmhauser has a dubious flirtation and relationship with alcohol. Except you might be safe because you don't look very slanty around the eyes. And that's usually what Grimmhauser goes for, because that's where the boats would always dock. And so that's about all I have to say about that. And you know what?
Enough, Ray. Sorry.
50% accurate as usual, Ray.
What? I
Bunholes.
just
Back at you.
so you guys, when you were in the Navy, did you port in Manila?
No.
What's he talking about?
He thinks everywhere is everywhere else. He doesn't. It all looks the same to him. That's literally what it is.
Well, you ported in Guam.
No.
And
No. We were in the Middle East. The Middle East.
How could an officer in the U.S. Navy confuse the Middle East with?
He confuses everything with everything. He confuses pumpkins with lovers.
That's a great line. Pumpkins with lovers. What do you think about that?
Pumpkin
That's a pretty good
holes.
one. Pumpkin what?
Pumpkin holes.
Oh.
Yeah, he's making some pumpkin pie. Ugh.
Yeah, all right. So that's that's Ray Casper for us. So conclusionary wrap up. Entity of Tsarichina, Hole of Tsarichina, Baba Vanga. You know the story with Baba Vanga? So she was a famous Bulgarian seer, and she was blind. She was, when she was young, she was swept up in, I believe, a tornado or some sort, and thrashed about. And what had happened is the sand and the dirt and the dust had got into her eyes and blinded her. Baba Vanga. I'd love to do an episode on Baba Vanga and some of her predictions. A lot of them ended up being true. She predicted the fall of the Berlin Wall. I almost said the Soviet Wall, the Berlin Wall, and a lot of other things. But the fall of the Berlin Wall, you know, if you were into geopolitics and that epoch, and or if you were anything like me, a mild Thatcherite, you and what was going on with Gorbachev and Thatcher and Reagan, you knew it was inevitable. But anyway, the point being is that she predicted so many things that did come true and supposedly still are coming true. She made some mistakes.
Was that the 80s?
Which one, with Baba Vanga?
The whole era of Thatcher and all that you're talking about.
Thatcher, late 70s and 80s and then 90s.
So let me tell you about the politics I was interested in at that time, sir.
Yes.
We're talking about Adam. We're talking about Tila. We're talking about Skeletor. Those were the politics I was interested in. Eternia, people. Eternia. Sorry, go ahead.
Was that on Skinamax? What are you talking about? I don't know what any of that is.
Masters of the Universe, my dude.
What's that? Sorry. Oh, He-Man?
Yes. Yes.
Is a cartoon?
Yes.
Oh, I'm so sorry. See,
She-Ra, yeah.
Now we're talking. She-Ra. Okay, now I know what you're talking about.
You know She-Ra, but not He-Man?
Well, no, when you said Master of the Universe, I was thinking He-Man. I didn't know you were talking about a video game. So, Blake Grimmhauser is a avid gamer. I have a admission. The last time I played a video game, and this might lose us some subscribers, I hope not, was the same night Princess Diana died in the tunnel in Gay Perry.
Oh, that's
Wasn't
sad.
so gay that evening, yeah. And the only reason that I even played a video game was because I was at a friend of mine's house, and I was waiting for the BBC to announce. It's my first problem there is listening to BBC, but back then it was relatively reputable. Waiting for the BBC to announce exactly what happened to Princess Diana, and so I was playing whatever space game he had and tuning in. And
You don't remember what the game was?
I have no idea.
That's sad.
But it would lose me for 45 minutes at a time, but that was the last time I played a video game, yeah. And I have nothing against video games. I don't know. What I used to say in the old days, don't take it personally, it's the old days. I used to say, I don't play video games because I like girls. But that's not, I'm so sad. It's just something I used to say.
Girls that play video games.
Nowadays, for sure.
Yeah, nowadays they are, yeah.
Then again, you know, my cousins who gave me the NES were girls. So, you know, I mean, there you go.
There we go. Yeah, so I have nothing against gamers, and Grimmhauser is on the verge of getting me into some, because they're so sophisticated now, and they're so... I believe it is a way to distract you from your problems, but actually take you to an alternative reality that does have legitimate substance to it.
You're right.
You're just not fiddling pixels.
Many games are now a legitimate storytelling medium.
Yeah, and that's what I like. I like that.
So, I mean, you want an interactive story? Sometimes video games are the way to go. But, you know, I won't, like, sit there and argue that a book isn't equally, if not better. So, you know.
Yeah. And so, I'm not opposed to video games at all. I just...
You ever play a game?
My favorite was King's Quest. I couldn't get past...
Dang.
You had to get past a certain point, you had to come up with the name of the troll. And I couldn't get it. I played it many times.
Sorry to interrupt. Speaking of trolls, so Grimmhauser has suggested a topic for the next show. We will be covering trolls.
And not y'all on the internet, not you guys.
Yeah. So the Scandinavian mythos associated with trolls.
Yes, the kind under bridges, not in basements.
Or the Germanic trolls as well. That'll be an interesting show, because I'm not sure on where to go, and I will attempt to find a story and relate it to the topic. But as per usual, like we were discussing prior to this, when we were having our little, I will, if I can't find a specific one, I'll make one up.
Shouldn't be hard either way.
Shouldn't be hard either way. So, like I said, conclusionary wrap up Entity of Tsarichina. It's so fascinating. I wish Mr. T was in a position to pressure the Bulgarian army to release these files.
Excuse me, Mr. You want them to pity the fool?
In a roundabout way. So the tube use, as Ray Casper would say, we have to be careful on what we're promoting on this channel. So what we're just going to say is Mr. T, who's running things now.
B.A. Baracus?
No, not favorite.
Club of Lang. Are we thinking of the same Mr. T?
But no, we're thinking of the Mr. T who's running the show now.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
I don't know why I wasn't getting that.
Yes, Mr.
I was
T.
thinking of the black guy.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking of. Was that
Like, why
gentleman.
would Mr. T?
Why would he care?
Oh yeah, no. Speaking of, I loved Mr. T.
He's been in a lot of great roles.
You ever see him on that Silver Spoons episode? Two Silver Spoons Together, You and I, where he played Ricky Schroeder's bodyguard who went to school.
Is Silver Spoon some kind of a soap opera?
It was a really stupid situation comedy, as people would.
Sitcom?
Sitcom. Yeah.
I say it was.
Yeah.
So, it sounds...
80s. Family Ties and...
It was kind of like the era of that, you know, like big buff dudes becoming like bodyguards and nannies. You remember Hulk Hogan? Wasn't that weird? Mr. Nanny? What the heck? And then, you know, you see The Rock doing it 20 years later, which is... And then what's his name? That dude who was in the Fast and Furious movies. The bald dude.
Vin Diesel?
Yeah.
Vin Diesel, yeah.
Look at the Mr. Nanny. Look it up.
Mr. Nanny, okay.
Yeah.
It's the funniest thing, I was never a fan of Hulk Hogan. I don't know what I was, you know.
You probably were a Macho Man fan, more like. Everyone had their guy.
Snap into a Slim Jim. No, right. I actually never really watched the wrestling, the fake wrestling. I never did.
Well, that's fair. Yeah. And I mean, I watched it as a kid, and it was fun for a while. But then you see a guy, you know, kick another guy in the nuts and calls it his move the Shattered Dreams, and I'm just like, at that point...
The Shattered Dreams.
Yeah, that's what he calls it. At that point, I was like, this is too real for me, so I'm going to go ahead and just move on.
Oh my God. Speaking of, did you ever see the, obviously this is the 2000s, when Mr. T, not the A-Team Mr. T, the other Mr. T, the
Big T, yeah.
The Big T was, he gave Vince McMahon a smackdown.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, and
that was actually funny.
Saved his head. Yeah, it was really...
Seeing a millionaire fight a billionaire. Funny.
And it's so funny because up to that let's just say that contest, I don't want to use the E word, the contest between Mr. T and the other one. It's so funny.
Mr. M.
The great Dinesh D'Souza said, "What you have is you have a circus clown up against a member of the Corleone family." And that the run up to that contest, as it were. But let's don't get into this, and we'll get all twisted. Let's don't get all twisted on this.
I have no care for politics, but that was entertaining.
Yeah,
that's what politics should be.
Exactly, it really is. So, speaking of what should be and not caring, you want to say bye to Ray Casper?
Can I say good riddance?
If only.
Well, but he's actually nice to you.
Nice is a relative term.
Yeah.
All right. So, yes. Go ahead, Ray, please. Say bye-bye. Hello?
Thank you once again for tuning in to the Erich Andreas Flying Saucer Spaceship Bulgarian Monster Hole Show.
You got it pretty close this time.
And it's like I say every week, if you would like to see a real show, come on over to the Ray Casper Show, starring Ray Casper. I'm Ray Casper. Because over on our show, you'll get a dose of real entertainment. You hang around the Spaceship Flying Saucer Movie Boy Show. The only thing you're gonna get a dose of is something you'll have to go to the free clinic, to have maybe some ointment.
That actually hit.
Too,
not bad.
Because that Grimmhauser, we don't know what he gets up to. Grimmhauser, did I ever tell you the story about how Grimmhauser?
Okay, that's enough. Thank you, Ray. But stop. But you just one last time.
You dirty Soviet bastard.
No.
I hate
No, Scotty, don't. Scotty, don't.
Thank you, Ray. Anyway, let's do our thank yous and our please and thank yous. But thank you so much again for turning into the Erich Andreas Unexplained. And as per usual, we'd like to give you the Unexplained 2 thumbs up and the peace out. Whatever the hell that means. Little
what does that
birds.
mean? Always birds.
Last goodbye. Oh, when the ship went down, run aground. sailors lost a boy. When my ship went down, run and run, I could still keep you